On this week's episode of Kickin' It Wit Killa, I have rapper, movie director, Black Deniro. We talk about his journey, and of course, we talk about his transition from rapper to director. So we got all that and more. So make sure you pull up your seat, spark that brain, and let's kick it.
We kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. We ain't taking no L's. I don't care how they feel. We kicking it, kicking it.
Black Deniro, what's going on, brother?
What's up, brother?
Man, I can't call it, man. Seems like you've been doing a lot. There's definitely a lot going on with you right now. But before we get into all of that, I want to start this thing off with something that we call the quick kick. So what happens here, we're going to do this or that. So you got to choose either this or that. So we're going to get into a couple like classic hood movies. I'm gonna say the title of the movie and you pick which one for you is the better one. Which one are you going to pick?
Yeah, you about to make this very difficult.
Yes, sir.
All
We're
right.
going to start this thing off with Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society.
I knew it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Menace.
Menace?
Yeah, only because see, I was a Cube fan, but uh, this is a crazy reason why I'm picking it because it shows you how they always say rap influence people, but when it comes to the movies, people just say, "Oh, it's movies." Like when they say the rap music glorifies this and that, and they be like, "Oh, what about Arnold Schwarzenegger or these people that's doing that?" They be like, "Oh, it's just movies." The reason why I chose Menace to Society because it did have me like that. I was a young teen when it came out, and it was influencing. Another reason that will help me make that determination is as I got into film, I noticed how hard it is for an actor to portray those roles because you look at Lorenz Tate and them as if they were those people, and then when you see them later on, it's like, oh man, it was really just portraying a character. So yeah, I would go with Menace.
New Jack City or Juice?
These are like, man, oh gosh. So what helped me make these determinations just is one slight thing. It's always gonna be one slight thing, probably why I choose every one of them because they're like equally yoked with me. But I'm gonna say New Jack City was a better film, but I'm going with Juice because of Tupac.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It kind of think about it. You got me thinking about it. New Jack City probably it probably had a bigger budget. Think about the people that were in the movie in that movie at that time, right? Of course, we had Juice, and there was Samuel Jackson, but that's before he was the Samuel Jackson that we know of today, right? I think Juice definitely had a huge impact. Definitely, and I'm bringing my brain back to it. It definitely had a huge impact.
And on top of that, it's so crazy now because when I'm watching these things, I'm rapping a little bit, but I'm a kid still, and I don't have the notoriety that I have now. But you know, to watch that film and then um, move with my career, every time I drop a film or a trailer, I'm able to text Omar Epps and send him my trailer or call him and say, I'm about to release this film. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a big thing for me. Be like to be able to call him and get him on the phone is dope.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely a big accomplishment right there. All right, so I got one more for you. One more for you. Um, we going deeper into the hood classics real quick. Belly or Paid in Full?
Oh, Belly.
Belly.
Yeah.
That
That's
was an
not.
easier one for you.
Yeah. That's not. That's not. That's not close to me. Not close
Well,
to me.
so why you say that? Let's dig deeper into that. Why do you say
It's not like a tug of war type joint. I just think Belly was overall a little bit better. Paper Four was dope. Um, I'm a Kyle Fight fan. Um, but I think as far as like acting, we had Kyle Fife in there, and we had Woody. I think those two really. I mean, shout out to Cameron and everybody, but I mean, yeah, I think I just go with Belly. I think Belly was more. I watched Belly a whole lot more.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. Um, and you're mentioning, yeah, no disrespect to Cam, but you had X, you know what I'm saying? You had Nas, you had Method, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of quotables uh in that movie itself. You know what I'm saying? And walking away with it.
Yeah.
So, so
Nah,
yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah.
for
So of course you come from the Philly rap scene, right? And you've had a lot of features, you've done a lot in the music game itself. What would you say as far as the rap scene is was your proudest moment? Like something that you can look back today and be like, yeah, I did that. Like what would that be for you?
That's a good question. Never had that question before. What was one of my proudest moments? Okay, so one of my proudest moments that I speak on, it wasn't me doing a song, it wasn't me performing anywhere or something, but I was walking in the mall and I was with my homeboy that, I grew up with guys that was never yes men. So when I was rapping, they knew I was nice, but they was like they just wasn't going for it. Everything wasn't just breezing past them. It wasn't liking everything. And my man told me one day, I want to see people like you. I got to see other people like you. I'm your homie. And we had to be about 17 years old, 18. Like I had other people like you. And then maybe like a few years later, we walking through the mall, and this white kid was hanging over the balcony and just was like, Black Deniro, dude, with two hands. And that right there, I'll never forget that. I wish I could find him because if he was our age then, he's probably our age now. Um, that was a proud moment for that um, at that time. And I will also say one of my proudest moments. I'll give you three. One of my proudest moments was doing a song with Beanie Siegel. That's when, and I hate when people say Beanie was Beanie, but he understand when we saying that. I did it when it was like Beanie Siegel,
Right.
before any of the things. That was one of my proudest moments. And another proudest moment, one of my proudest moments was although people knew my records, I did a show. I performed at Uncle O and Mikey Dread party one time. And it was super packed. I forgot the name of the club because they always changing the names. It's across the street from the Federal Building downtown, and everybody was there. Gilly, Gravy that played Biggie, Gravy was there. Everybody was there, and I did a freestyle, and everybody in the building knew my words where I was able to say, first I bust a left, then I bust a right. My weed already rolled down, looking for my light. Shorty at the bus stop, she looked a little tight. I slide down, she got the fake Louis bag and went like this, and he like, I'm all right. And it was like, I'm like, yo, they
You're
with
like,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, they with it. So that was like three good proud moments, although I had many, but that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
throughout rap, film, and everything.
That's what's up right there. So we did a lot in the music. You decided to transition into being a director, music, and a film writer, right? What was it? What was the point that made you decide? You know what? This is what I want to do. What made you transition?
I never look. I never. My passion was always music. Since I was 10 years old, I always wanted to rap. So it wasn't a decision. It was a hidden blessing. I call. You know, God blessed me with this thing called ambition, and I always say, as long as you got ambition, you won't be broke because ambition won't allow you to be broke. Because you're always going to do something. You're always going to find something that the willingness to get up and that drive to push and that all in that ambition bubble. I was rapping, rapping, rapping. I did a short, I did like a 3-minute song called "It's More to the Story," and um, it was like something like you can listen to the song, and it was like I come from the era of rap.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody sugarcoat things now because they don't want to rub people the wrong way and get right. But no, it's not the same. I don't care what nobody say. It's not the same. You had to know how to rap. All this stuff today, that's half of this stuff today. And if you feel like you can rap, it shouldn't be no offensive to you. But you couldn't just say anything. You had to rap. You talking about these guys I was rapping with, uh, Beanie Siegel and Foo and Raisi and Murder Mill and Frank, Nikki Flowers. These people were crazy. Gilly the Kid. Like, these people I'm in ciphers with. You had to come with that work, right? So I don't even want to venture off, but I'm just letting you know. So when I wrote that song, it was a story that you can close your eyes and picture, and it's called "There's More to the Story." I was still focused on rap. I had some guys come up to the studio. I had a studio on 68th and Ogans, and I had some people come up. A lot of guys from 7th Street. Shout out to my man Lean from the Chasers. I had a lot of people pull up that day, and they was listening to it, and I didn't know what to do with the song for about a month or two. And then Depp, who shot it, said, "Won't you act it out and then turn it into a video at the end?" Because I was just going to do a video and try to get it all in that one video. So I decided to act it out. I called Cousin E. I called Spank the comedian, and we got it and did it. Took a 3-day shoot, got it done, put it out. Thought nothing of it. Just thought it was gonna be something that I was going to wake up and get like 50,000 views on, because you got that back then. You was doing something. People wasn't getting all those astronomical views like they do now, 24 million views and 100 something million. That wasn't happening, you know. So I woke up the next morning and there was 50,000 overnight, and then I seen it growing, and I'm like, oh, this joint gonna reach 500,000 views, and it did. Then it reached 1 million, and once it reached 1 million, and then two, then three, then four, then five, then six, then seven, then eight, then nine, then 10. I'm like, damn. And I started getting the phone calls. Cassidy called me. Siegel called me. A lot of people called me. I was like, yo, you just went viral by yourself on some crazy type time. And from there, I had a mutual friend to somebody that walked up to me. Me and this guy, Fudgy, had a mutual friend named D Black. And D Black came up to me one day and was like, hey, man, I'll be talking to these people at Netflix. I'll be telling them that your stuff is mine just because I wanted to get in the building, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yo, we got a meeting with these people. And, had a little meeting, and people was telling, I'm telling people I can write these movies. But when we left, I was like, bro, we got a problem. I don't know how to write movies. He's like, you do now. And so for there, I just went and I wrote a movie. I didn't know how to format a script. I didn't know anything about scene selection, actors, nothing. I learned everything as I went fast. So we had this girl that D Black knew in New York called Tiffany Barrett. Shout out to Tiff. She came down, and we would meet at D Black office every day. And I figured the first thing I'm gonna write about is my life. So the transition from coming to the streets to turning legit. And I would walk back and forth and pace and tell her, and she would type it out into the script. I'm like, I wake up in the morning, I yawn, I put my stuff on, I go, I take a shower, I go downstairs, I hear her knock at the door, she would write it all. I say this, I say that, he said this, she say that. She wrote the first script for me as far as taking my words and putting it in the format. And then we shot it. From there, it went crazy. It went crazy. I had an offer for my first script for $50,000, which I turned down because they wanted to swap out my guy Charvez, who played Rue, for Waka Flocka, and I said no. And my man was mad at me about that. But then I made $50,000 in 1 month selling them on DVDs because I had a DVD era.
Hey, it worked. It
Yeah,
worked. Stuck to your ground and it still worked.
and that's how I
So
started doing film.
so talking about that first film that you wrote, of course you had that assistance. We were kind of just spitting it out and you had somebody being able to write for you. What is the difference or similarity in writing a verse comparison to writing a film?
I would think the only similarity is if you were a storyteller, if you painted a picture in your music. That's what I'm saying. Today you listen to rap, you don't really see a picture. You don't see a picture when you close your eyes for a majority of the music these days. So I think the similarity is I was able to paint pictures with my music, and that's what made it easy to write a film.
You know, you're right about that. As I sit here and think about it, a lot of our the music that we probably grew up on, the music that might have been before us as far as rap goes,
Right.
um, there was a lot of storytelling, right? We already know Biggs was already one of the biggest storytellers out there, but then we go back and we think about Slick Rick, or we go back and even just thinking even further, right?
G rap.
And yeah, G Rap, all that, right? They were good storytellers. We fast forward to today. Now, granted, right, and I always try to say this because there is some good stuff out there. There is
Yeah,
good
for
stuff. So it's
sure.
not necessarily talking about the whole rap game in general,
Right.
but there is some good stuff out there. But comparison to what we had before, there probably isn't a lot of good storytelling going on out there now, right? Um, some of the cats out there don't got bars. Now, like I said, is a return. There is a return of stuff coming back, right? There's definitely some people coming back out that have bars, and there's definitely, and you got even rappers from before that are making their return back, and making an impact with it, right? Think about Clips, right? You got people making their return and doing their thing, but overall, in general, yeah, the time of storytelling, the bars that we're used to hearing, there probably was a point in time where it wasn't there. There was even people rapping off beat. I don't want to say a particular person's name.
There's a lot of people rapping off beat, but I mean that's what it is now. So it is what it is. It's no disrespect to nothing. I'm just saying that to answer your question, that's what me. That's the similarities to me. Just writing a story.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. So let's bring us through your process. What's your process? Number one, you've written already. What's your process of casting? Like, do you already have, when you're writing something, do you have somebody in thought, or does, like, while you're writing it, you're like, you know what, this person would be good doing this part, or like, what's your process in casting and finding a role for the character that you're looking for?
Sometimes I have somebody, but in the beginning it was just like when I don't know what I'm doing, what it's more to the story. It's like you, my brother, my friends, my homies, you know, Spank, cousin E. We get in there, we just do it. But when I did Brush, it was kind of the same thing, but I threw a casting call, and then I found Ty, who was the lead character. I found Charvez. I just had a casting call, and I got a couple people, and I handpicked a few people. So that's the regimen for that. And then once I did Backfire, which was my second film, and because I wrote um, me being on the run from the Italian mob, I had to have a casting call and let people know that I'm looking for Italians, and that's what happened. I had the whole 68th and Ogans lined up with Italians outside. And that's when I knew people was paying attention. And that was only my second film, and that's the film that went to Netflix.
So we talked about your casting process. Is
Hmm.
is there a rapper out there today that has not been in your film, that you would love to have part of a Black Deniro production?
It's a lot of talented rappers that I like. So it all depends on if they can act to me too. That's the thing with me, 'cause I take it so serious. It depends on if they can act. But I like Fabio is my man. I would love to have Fabio and something. I'm going to work with Big Daddy Kane one day. That's one of my favorite rappers. So I'm definitely going to work with Kane. Um, um, Meek. Yeah, I talk to Meek all the time, and you know, he might poke his head out in something. I never know. You know what I'm saying? I never asked him before though, so I don't know. Um, but yeah, I kind of ventured towards the actors more actors. The one thing about film, man, it's so different than rap because you had so a lot of these platforms and a lot of people they don't even look at rappers as like to even take the film. They look at names, and when they say names, they're looking at actors. And that's the difference. So, even though I produce my own films, I was about to do something with Jadakiss. He was about to be in Dope Girls Part Two. I talked and text Jadakiss a few times about being in part two of my series that I had started. So maybe man he might work in the future again. Like the beauty of it is I can call him too and say, I got something I think you might be interested in.
That could be something right there. So, of course, in whatever you're in, you have your high points, you have your low points, right? So there's a lot of ups and downs. Has there ever been a point that you almost sat there and was like, I almost feel like giving up on this, on the filming and the directing and everything like that? And then what was it that motivated you to keep going?
Never. I never go that low. I go low where I may be stressed, frustrated, um, irritated, mad, angry. Quitting is never in my vocabulary. Stopping is never in my vocabulary. I'm just being honest. I never, ever, ever got to the point where I felt like I'm going to quit. You got to understand something. I watch a lot of motivational interviews. I believe in God heavily. So I just feel like, I've seen so many people that I don't know make it, and their stories are damn near similar. Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, you know what I'm saying? I watch these people stories. Sherman Hensley, the lead from Goodfellas, Sylvester Stallone, all of these guys went through the same things similar. They was 42 and 35 when they got on at 40. So I always look at that Samuel L. Jackson, so and then I watch my own homies do it, you know, uh, and it's not just with film. I watch Gil work all them years and then finally get his just due. So it's a lot of people that I see, and then I watch the motivational videos, and I never thought about quitting it. Anything I did, unless I just felt like I didn't want to do it no more. I don't think that's quitting. I just think like with rap, I felt like I didn't want to influence people no more the way I rap. I felt like I was older. I felt like I'm getting tired. I couldn't do shows. If you sign me right now, I ain't go. I ain't got the energy to go on tour.
Right, right.
I don't have the energy to roam around on tour and rap all day. First of all, after the first song, my voice gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't got the energy for all that. So that's not quitting. That's just like moving on.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I never thought about quitting. But when I get in downtimes and things are not going the way that they supposed to go, I realize it happens with every film. And the worse trauma I go through, the better my film come out. And I always believe God gonna make it happen for me.
Just to give a little bit of motivation, because you're talking about motivation right here, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of advice for somebody that might be thinking about becoming a director themselves. What's your advice? What's the process of becoming a movie director? And what tips do you have for that up and coming person that's thinking about doing that?
Just whatever you get into, do your research on it. Like I said, I didn't know anything. So when I first started, I didn't even know about an LLC. That's how street I was. You know what I'm saying? So get your business right first. Your accountant, your lawyer, your LLC, your corporation, whatever you're gonna do. But just always do research. I didn't know anything about character development. I didn't know about building a background story. I didn't know about just the ins and outs of directing, like the angles, the shots. So what I do, I study. I study all. If you look at my YouTube, that's all I watch. You're gonna see the Discovery Channel, most likely Savage Kingdom, because it's all about the lions and hyenas and stuff. You're gonna see boxing, because that's all I watch. That's my favorite sport. I know every boxer from Jack Dempsey up till now. And you're gonna see behind the scenes of the Titanic, behind the scenes of Training Day, behind the scenes of Coming to America, from drama, comedy. I want to see who directed it. I want to look the director up, and that's how I found my one of my favorite directors. My two favorite directors are Quentin Tarantino and Antoine Fuqua. Those are like you look at that and you figure out you got to study and figure out what you want to do, who you want to look for, see the character, know what you look like, know what they look like, envision them. So you just have to really work. You got to understand what's going on. I feel the same thing with film. When I was doing film, it wasn't as saturated as it is now. When I had my movie in the theaters in the Pearl Theater back then in 2012, it was on people wasn't didn't even see that before. They couldn't believe my name was up there. And now everybody, you go on Instagram, is we're on set, we throwing a premiere, and that's cool. But it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of people just looking at it as a bag. Some people may look at it as this, but are they really studying? You got to study. I always put out quality over quantity. So they anybody who wants to do it, all I can say is never give up. Pray first and foremost. Never give up and take it serious and do your research on everything.
You know, with everything you do, like you just said, make sure you keep God first, right? That's 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 going to be the thing to anchor you and to keep you going right there, right? In today's time, now when me and you, because we're pretty much the same age, like a lot of stuff that we did before was more trial and error. We didn't have the access like everybody does now to be able to look something up and learn a little bit about it, right? But now we're in a day where You have YouTube, and Google obviously is the number one search engine, and YouTube is the number two search engine, right? Which is owned by Google essentially, right? So you have everything right in front of you. You can sit there on YouTube and almost just zone out for a day. Now, obviously, don't get too distracted because some people see a squirrel and they start running that direction. But you can stay focused and almost like dig deep into whatever it is that you want to do. Um, simple stuff. How do I change this thing in the house? You can look it up on YouTube and figure out how to do it. And it brings you step by step. So we are in a good spot right now where, just like you said, do your homework, know everything about it. If you want to be a music director, make sure you know everything that you need to do to be a music director. Find out what other or what other film directors are doing, and just kind of go straight from there. So I like the motivation. I like the tip that you're giving out there to everybody. Here's another fun one for you, real quick. If you can remake any classic movie, what movie would it be? What one would you make the Black Deniro way? Like what would that be?
It would be a toss up between Scarface and it's crazy, but I would say the Titanic because I would do it a different way.
That would actually be crazy if you could remake it, because obviously it's a
Yeah.
classic movie, and more classic to some than others, right?
Mhm.
Um, that probably would be something right there. If you could remake that in your way, that might be fire right
Of
there.
course, mine would be fictional,
Yeah,
and I would
yeah,
add a little flavor to it. So yeah,
right. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. So what else do we have coming up? What was going on with Black De Niro?
we have. I usually do an annual seminar called Get Started Now. I'm supposed to do it this year, but I'm gonna hold back on it this year because I'm planning some things that I'm doing with my man Murder Payne from Detroit. Um, we gonna put something. We gonna collab. I have a movie that's already filmed. It's about to go into post next month. It's called Switch. That'll be out early 26. Um, and then I'll start working on the project with me and Murder and a few people that I have from Philly that's gonna be in that. And then just keep going, man. Just keep pushing. Just keep on. I have so many scripts that's written too. So I have scripts that I had now. I have a comedy that I have written. I have another action film, a crazy action film that I have written. And I've been holding on to these films for about 6, 7 years now. And I'll refuse to do them until I get the whole budget that I need because these are like $1 million films for me. And I feel like a lot of my films were $1 million films, but when you do them yourself, and I'm paying 40, $50,000 per film because I believe in the quality. And when you're doing that, um, I'm still taking away from the value of my film because I'm unable to do certain things that the film need. So it's going as far as it can with that budget. So I feel like once I get with the right people and that break come, then I got a couple films in the tuck that's
There you
gonna
go.
do that's gonna shake
There you
them up.
go. I like it. I like it. So if you ever need an extra in the background, somebody just walking in the background or something, you know what I'm saying? Like I could probably jump in there real quick. Yeah.
Right.
That's what's up, man. I want to thank you for coming on this show today, man. I definitely like what's going on with you. You had a chance for a lot of people to kind of get to know you a little bit more, get more
Mhm.
invested into what's going on with you, right?
Right.
So, I definitely appreciate it. I love where your head's at right now, where your brain is at. That is a great thing. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, God's blessing you. Keep
Yeah,
it
for
going.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it going. Don't let no distractions happen. Keep it going, brother. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Keep
Yeah.
doing your thing. So, of course, you were tuned into Kicking It with Killa. And remember, doesn't matter what season you're in, whether it's the fallback, the get back, or the comeback, you're special. You have purpose. So go out there and get it. Peace.